Hey guys, do you need welding gas? Go see the boys at C.A.R Gas. If you're in New Zealand, yep, go see these guys. They'll look after you. C.A.R Gas, New Zealand. Alrighty, good afternoon people. Welcome to the next video that I've already recorded once today, this morning. I deleted the videos by mistake. Anyway, paint fumes must be getting to me, or the dust must be getting to me or something. But anyway, here we are anyway, video 130 something. I can't remember. Oh, and welcome to NZ Mopo Outlaw Customs. God, geez, I'm having a real brain fart today. So anyway, in the last video, obviously we got this thing primed. So this morning, I'll turn the camera around. Right, so this morning I re-shimmed this door because when I was opening it, it was trying to catch here. I shimmed, what did I shim? God, I can't even fucking remember now. I put half a shim in here, that's right, and behind here, and I put a shim in behind here, because it just kicked that half the shim, it just kicked that panel out a little bit, and then just pushed it that way. It's just so to open this gap up, and that fits way better now. And I've bolted the fenders on, and I've been blocking them out. So I've got this one blocked out. I actually just mixed up some putty, and then, well, like half an hour or 40 minutes ago, and I was round sanding that stuff, and I don't know what the hell happened. I put plenty of hardener. I don't know whether it just, when I was mixing it, whether I didn't stir it in enough, or what happened. But yeah, I come back and touched, because I put a little bit, so I bolted that on there too. Well, not really bolted, I just sat it in there and put a bolt in there, just so the fender was a bit more rigid. I just checked fitment and all sorts of other bits, since we're at this sort of level, because I put these on so I could check the gaps around here, and also marked on here, just so when I take these back off and finish sanding, you know, in the parts that I can't get to, you know, I know where I need to be, make it nice, you know, and I've got to finish this, and I want to check the fitment around here, and what was seen, and all those sorts of things. I'm trying to shorten this up. So yeah, so I re-puttied that, and I thought I'd mixed it thoroughly. I don't know what the hell happened there, because I put like a decent dollop of the red hardener in this too. Like I didn't put a very big puddle there, but like a small one, and then I put a decent dot in it. I sort of mixed it up, and like 40 minutes later I touched it, because I put a little bit extra around here and a couple of spots in here, so when I blocked this back, and I touched, put my hand on there, and I touched the end, and it was like still gooey. I was like, the hell? Like, it's freaking warm as shit. I don't know what temperature it is, but it is hot. Because I was sanding this, and I started sanding this and puddling around. So I've got this fitted up. You know, I've got to fix up a little piece here. What I do it. Everything else, it looks pretty good. But I'm going to move these back a little bit. I'm going to shim these two and move these back a little bit. Probably that one. I'll probably actually do the whole lot. I don't know, I freaking, the stupid body moves around with the heat. It's a pain in the ass. But I think I'm going to move them back a little bit, just shim the hinge part that bolts to the pointing forward, if you know what I mean. So it moved back a little bit. And what I did when I actually shimmed that one, I ground the piece of steel down, so it wasn't as thick, because I was just using panel steel. But I just ground it down with a flappy wheel, just to take a wee bit of thickness off it, just so it didn't jump quite so much, and just re-shimmed that, and that panel door fits really good now. I was happy with them the other day when I put them back on, but for some stupid reason this thing moves too much. But anyway, I just want to re-shim it and whatever again. But so I was blocking that back, yeah, and I don't know why that crap didn't go off. Like, you can see it. You push it around with my finger, like it's not even trying to go off. It's got me stuffed, I don't know. So I'll mix up another batch and I'll spread that back on. So that's pretty much what I've done today. Blocked the crap out of that fender, got that door fitting properly, bolted the stuff back on, just to check the fitments from all the body, you know, from the filler work and sanding and whatever, just to make sure things fitted properly and there's no issues before I, you know, obviously get to paint. So yeah, and I may even bolt, I think I said in the other videos too, that I may bolt the front fenders back onto the chassis, and just block the worst of them back too, and just sit the braces underneath and just block the worst of them back too. Just because it's actually easier to sand them on here than what it is to screw them down onto the bench and sand them. I don't know, just they're more rigid. You know, I don't even have to put all the bolts in, but if I put the 4 bolts in the bottom of the bracket, one up where the brace goes between for the headlights, and then the bolts along the chassis, and just snug them up so they're reasonable, it'll be damn sight easy to sand those fenders on here, and just get them really dialed in. It just gives me more room to move around those bottom pieces. You know, I can get in there and sand them better, which was what I was trying to do with that extra bit of putty. Just put it in and really get this thing dialed in. Because there's a few little low marks and bits and pieces I just wanted to get right, but we'll mix some more crap up and I'll get that back on. Now that I've sort of caught myself back up again, because yeah, that's like, I don't know, 2:30 in the afternoon. Yeah, what actually happened was I was deleting some old footage from a couple of days ago, and I must have clicked on today's date in my gallery by mistake, and just when I pushed delete for the delete the whole lot, it deleted that too, but it was like, shit, it's gone now. Because I cleared my trash bin as well, because I always do that, so I've got heaps of space for footage in case I do long periods of footage. I just so the phone's not getting filled up full of crap, because you know I'm always adding photos that I don't really delete, but the working footage I do, you know, every day or so I delete it. I went through to delete today's stuff, or yesterday's stuff, and whatever from the last few days. I went through and deleted it all, and yeah, I must have just accidentally flicked today's, like there's a little icon for that you can click each day to delete the footage, and or videos or photos or whatever, and yeah, did that by mistake and deleted the whole lot. It's the first time I've done it. I think, in a long time. So it's a pain in the ass, but anyway, I'll carry on. Well, we're at that time it was going off when I was putting it on. I know. Didn't do anything different. It was weird. It was almost like when I mixed it, the dollop that I put in there fucking didn't spread through it or something fucking stupid, I don't know. Who knows? I give up guessing. Anyway, carry on. Right, guys, so I'm about finished for the day. The putty that I put on again on the reef bin on the side, I've knocked that all off, and when I applied a little bit on the other one, it didn't do anywhere as much as what this did. I just put a little bit more back in here. So hopefully now, with the last of the high build on that, I think apart from blocking back the other part of it when I pull it off, obviously that I can't get into, unless there's any other little imperfections in that, it's basically done, you know, and hopefully the last coats of high build, and this one here should be the same. I'll just turn the camera on. Yeah, hopefully this one should be the same. I've just scraped in what is actually excess over there. There was a couple little lines and you could sort of feel them, so I just scraped it on. You know, and just a few little nicks and marks in this edge where it's been repaired and filled. Again, a couple little marks down here, and I scraped a little bit across the back because I just wasn't 100% how it felt. But apart from that, once I knock that off again, Yeah, it should be ready for hopefully the last coats of high build, which is awesome. I think we're really close with those. They're sort of a bit like the hood sides, but they're coming up. They're coming up. I thought they were going to be a little bit more of a challenge. That one there, I think I've got now, but this one here, they're pretty good. So yeah, I'm about to pack up. There's actually last year about this time they had the Southern Grills and Gasoline Club. I think they're a club. Did what they call the Santa Cruz through Invercargill. Basically, they drive around and they just pick up parcels and bits and pieces. But it's a whole heap of hot rods cruising around and whatever, bikes, whatever, cruise around and pick up, presents that people are going to donate for different charities, or for a different charity each year. I'm pretty sure it's a different charity each year. But anyway, so they're doing that tonight. So I'm going to cruise in there and do a little bit of videoing for that. So I'll throw a video up for that. If you want to go watch last year's one, when I edit this, I'll throw it at the end of the video. Or I'll throw it at the end of the video for that when I put it together, whether you'll see this one or the actual cruise night together. Which one you'll see first, I'm not 100% sure. Probably be that one before this one, but it's all good. If you'd miss it and you're watching this, go back and watch it. So yeah, I'm going to pack up. I'm going to go home and have a quick wash because it starts about 6. So I'll just leave here a few minutes early, go have a quick shower, get changed, throw down tea and then cruise into town. There's only 20 minutes into town basically, so as long as I leave by about, but a little bit after 5 we'll get in there and we'll be right. So that's cool. So I'll go do that and try and make another cool videos for you guys, seeing some of the local hot rods and bits and pieces. And I'll share the crap out of it on Facebook and hopefully get some good views like I did with the burnout video. That's why I like doing the car show ones, because I share it around all the different groups on Facebook, especially all the local car clubs around here and further up country, and I get some good views on them and I pick up more subscribers. Whereas this stuff, I can share it as much as I like, but people are only going to watch it for what it is, whereas the car show stuff and the burnout stuff, it drags people in because a lot of people go to them. And so it's a good, the car show stuff, if you can go to them and just share the crap out of it on Facebook through all the sort of the local areas and, even the broader areas that are near you, through those Facebook groups and stuff like that, and you'll get a shitload of hits. So it's always a good turnover for views too, especially if you're trying to get monetized like me, because I actually thought I had enough views to be monetized, or I did. I was actually had more than enough views, but I've actually just sneaked underneath that radar again. So hopefully once I get to that, back up to 1,000, I'll be close. Because I was actually talking to Danny about it from DG Retro Customs, and he's in the same boat. He's just clocked over 900, but because he hasn't had much regular content because just the situation at the moment, his view rate's only about half of what it needs to be. So poor bugger. But anyway, I'm close. But yeah, I've just dropped below that threshold again because last year I did a lot of those car shows and bits and pieces. So it boosted my views way up because, I had 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 views on some stuff. But we haven't had that this year, so, well, lack of, I would have had 5 or 6 different car shows done by now, and more to come. So, but whether we're going to get to see them all or not, I don't know. See, I've already missed 3 or 4 local ones, but hopefully some of the ones after Christmas we might be able to go and have. Now that they've started this fella friggin', I don't know what you want to call it, instead of different levels for this COVID shit, they're basically, they're having what they call the traffic light fucking system. Oh, fuck, well, it's just stupid. If we're all vaxxed, what is the fucking matter? Now, if they're talking 90% vax rate, well, most of the places are 90% vax rate, so the rest of us, will survive. Or we'll die, one of the two. I don't know, it just drives me nuts. It's like they're trying to control this shit so much, but it's like, it's uncontrollable, Now we'll just, if we're vaxxed, we're vaxxed, and if we're not, we're not, and just let us carry on with life, you know. We're either going to beat this friggin' stupid thing or we're not, you know. We're just going to have to live with it. There's no point frickin', you know, penalising the fucking world because whatever, but you know what I mean. I'll carry on, and yeah, well, I'll go get ready to do this stuff and go to this car run tonight. Right, catch you later on. Morning, guys. So I went and done the cruise night last night for the Santa cruise for Southern Grills and Gasoline. And unfortunately, actually the main cruise was alright, but just where they were, about where they were going to go finish, which was slightly out of town heading towards here, the cloud had come in and it just bucketed down. So when we were where they were going to park up, they had a venue to go inside, but because I was just maybe filming the cars and I was going to go for a bit of a walk around them and you know, just have a bit of a scoot around the cars and bits and pieces that were in the cruise when they all gathered together at the end. Yeah, because it just bucketed down. I don't know how long it lasted for in that area, because by the time we sort of got back out towards home, which is, you know, 10, 15 minutes later, the weather had cleared again and it hadn't been raining out here. But yeah, I wasn't going to hang around for, you know, if I could see that it was only going to last a couple of minutes, I probably would have hung around, but it looked pretty black around that area, so, you know, it might have been there for half an hour, I don't know. So I didn't hang around, so we just headed for home. So I've got to get that video edited the next day or two when I get a chance. But anyway, so I'm back at work. I've got this bit of body glazing putty on this rear fender to knock down, so I'll get that sorted, and then I'll work out when I start sanding next. I might work on the body possibly, or whatever, I don't know. I'll work on something and try and get all the stuff dialed in. I just thought I'd work on the fenders just to glare that. Basically, so what do we paint this Thursday? Today's Saturday morning. Well, I probably could sand it now, but I just want to let it sit for a few days and just let it cure up properly, if you know what I mean. So probably next week we'll start sanding the body. You know, I've had these fenders sitting here for a bit now, being primed, so that's why I thought I'd get these knocked down and sorted out and then get them ready for the next prime up. You know, and while these are sitting, curing up, you know, I can get this body sorted out, and then hopefully, yeah, I don't want this week coming, but I suspect probably the week after that, at some point, we'll get some colour on this thing. I'm hoping, you know, as long as we can get the paint and all that sort of stuff, and I don't have any silly issues, I think we'll be into paint, which will be good. I still want to adjust these doors a little bit more, like I did with that other front one. Just if I can get them tweaked a little bit better, I'll be happy. Well, they're not bad, but I'll turn the camera around. Like it's now cooled down overnight. So these gaps haven't really changed too much. Yeah, it's not bad still. Just checking, because this thing seems to move around a lot, but it is better. So yeah, I just would like to do the same sort of thing, grind down a piece of sheet metal, just thin it out a little bit, and just shim these back a little bit, shim them all back a little bit. It's just weird, I don't know, I just don't understand why they've moved around so much. It's pissed me off, to be honest. Just annoying, you know. How's that? Oh, that's right, I've got a lock on it. I put a catch on it so I could stand around here without it flapping open. That's right, let's come with the heck. So yeah, they're all sitting a little bit further forward than I like. This one is actually not that bad. Actually, I'll probably get away with this. It's not actually, you know, this isn't an issue. It's the back ones. I'll try and move these back ones back a little bit. Even if I can get the bottom of this one to move out. The top of it's not bad. I'll just try and see if I can get the bottom of this one to move a little bit by thinning piece of sheet metal. Actually, if I had a piece of modern panel steel, you know, like off a modern vehicle, just a, you know, a scrap would be perfect, because it's only about half the bloody thickness of this stuff, if you know what I mean. Like, this isn't thick, but you know, a modern car's freaking only half that. So yeah, they just need to move back a little bit. A little bit would be nice. But yeah, just to get them a little bit better, because this has moved around from when I first fitted it up, you know, when we put the body back on, because I have had it off and put it back on again. Like, you wouldn't think it would move that much. You think once I got the screw holes set and the shims set that I had in there, like, you'd think it would be the same every time you put it back on, but it doesn't seem to be. But yeah, because you can see that it's just trying to catch here, which is not ideal. Take that off. Just a pain in the butt. Because it's not like a modern car hinge, see, it's just catching there, so it just needs to move back a little bit. Could possibly even just move it out a little bit too. It's not really though. It's in a little bit, but if I move it back, it'll clear. It's only just trying to catch. So, because that's when you get the, you know, even though I'm going to block this back, you know, by the time you get another layer of paint, you get your top coat on there, you know, that gap's going to get smaller, so I'm just going to be careful. It needs to come back a little bit. Yeah, if I pull it back at the bottom, I think we'll get it. So that's cool. But I'll get this stuff knocked off, and yeah, then we'll carry on with probably the front fenders or something like that. I'm tempted to bolt them on. I'm really tempted to bolt them on the chassis, because that's a damn sight easy to sand. Like, it's alright to sand up here, but well, if I get the brace in there, just put a one bolt in here, and the 4 bolts down there, and bolt it on down there. Unfortunately, I can't bolt it through here, only here. I could, but I could actually put the running board in between and just put a screw on each end so it doesn't move around so much. But it would just be easy to sand. Anyway, I'll carry on. Righty, so I've got the rear fenders off, and obviously that off. I'm just been cleaning up the last little pieces that I couldn't get to, obviously, when it was bolted on. So I've got that one sorted. I've got a couple little spots that I didn't think were seen, but are seen. Where is it? Just a little bit in here. I want to touch up on this edge. I just didn't think it was quite seen, but some of it is. So I'll have to put a little bit of putty in that, and there might be the other little mark. I think there's a couple little here that I don't want to sand too much further, so I might just put a little bit of something on there, because a lot of some of it's not seen, if you know what I mean. But I'll get some of it with high build, and we'll get some of it with glazing putty. But yeah, a lot of this I might have to sand this a little bit harder too, just up into here, because it's just sort of seen through here. So I need to get rid of some of those marks. But apart from that, it's coming up pretty good. I'm pretty happy, you know. It's unfortunate, it should have got it so beaten to death. You know, I'm always finding other little marks, but God, I've just, you know, like, it's still going to be really, really good, but it's just, man, if you chase everything, God, you're just going to spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. I've just got to try and get it as good as I can. And because you keep, you know, you miss things and miss things and miss things and miss things, and it's frustrating. But anyway, so I'm going to clean this one up a bit more on this edge now, and get that ready for hopefully final. Yeah, and then hopefully we don't have to do anything else. I'm hoping. And then, yeah, I was trying to decide whether I'm going to bolt these front fenders on or not. Just, yeah, it's just awkward, because I got rid of that sheet of the road and I cut up a bit more plastic, because I had another big piece of plastic, just to lay over the front of this chassis in the meantime, so I just don't have to have that sheet there. Just one half dozen the other, but yeah, I just put that there, because I was trying to resolve it. I was going to put those front fenders on there. I might carry on with them there and then just see how I get on. because I don't really want to scratch stuff up and whatever. But these were easy to bolt on because they're bolting onto the body, not so much onto the chassis, which isn't quite so critical at the moment, if you know what I mean. So I'll get cleaning this stuff up, and yeah, and then I'll move on to them. Alrighty, so because I was going to mix up a little bit of putty for those rear fenders, just to fix the other last little bits and pieces and the few things I knew that were going to be seen and how much they were going to be seen. I went around the body shell, the doors and everything, and had a look for the worst spots and just gave them a quick scuff with a bit of 240, so I could come along and just put a little bit of putty in them as it was going. You know what I mean? So anything I could see that shone, that's come up through the high build, that looked like it's probably not going to be coming out with sanding, I've come along and put another scrape of putty on, so at least when I knock it back and block things back, I'm filling those, pre-filling those, if you know what I mean. And I try to put a little bit extra filler in here to try and catch this funny piece that wasn't 100% right in the shape. I'm going to have to put a little bit more in there eventually, but I was just trying to didn't want to overload it and it hanging off and falling down. So, but I did a few little spots around the back here and just fixed a few little marks. Could have done that one too, but it doesn't matter. We'll pick them up. So that's cool, because this part of this part here is pretty good now. Hopefully it's not too bad down the bottom. Now they've poured quite a bit extra product on the back when I was high building it the other day. Every time I come back down here, I made sure I actually blew it back through there, sort of like a good, almost when I did a one coat, I did like a two coat on here to try and get that extra material on that bottom problem section where it's had all the major repair, if you know what I mean. And I put a few little spots in there, and I sort of had enough just to, because where I made this panel, it's not obviously perfect shape in there, it's a bit benty roundy, so I just put a little bit of, I'll have to put some more in there at some other point, but what I had left I sort of scraped into the best I could. I put a little bit in here and a little bit down there. So that's cool. That's got hopefully the worst of what's sort of needed. There's going to be more, obviously, because a lot of it's just initial, obviously, high build. So we're going to have to probably go through it at least once or twice, if you know what I mean. So you've done this piece here. Actually, probably should have put some more on that, but I forgot. That piece, because it's sort of seen, it's that piece that sits around here. You sort of see some of it, but you don't see all of it, if you know what I mean. Well, you do see, this part of it. So I put some filler, some putty on that to try and smooth that out to make it look decent. And a little bit where there's some wee marks and bits and pieces here. I did the spot in here that was sort of seen, and a couple of little marks down there, which was, not quite so covered by the rear valance. So yeah, we're getting close on those. Hopefully by the time I do re-prime these things, I'll check them again and just make sure there's no other marks, that I've missed again. And I'll probably hit that again. Just try and get it a little bits and pieces before I do that. That another few coats of primer, and then hopefully we're on top of it. Hopefully, because they're the peggy things with these weird shapes, how it transitions from this sort of curved panel that way and that way, and then all of a sudden it sort of flattens out. It's got this that's a freaking tight hook to try and sand in. It's a pig of a spot, to be honest. Just about every time I've sanded it, when I've been trying to knock off that bit of extra filler or putty, I'll put it in there. Trying to knock it back with something a wee bit coarser, I've got to be really careful I don't dig back in. That's been some of the worst things I've had, trying to knock, or I've probably put it on a little bit thick and trying to knock it back off a little bit, and you end up digging myself a little bit of a low spot again, so you got to frickin' hit it again. That's the bloody worst part about it. But we're getting there. We're getting less and less and less. So yeah, a bit off there. That's cool. We're getting there. Hopefully we'll be close this time, really close. Hopefully don't have to do anything else to them. So, I might go and sand that front fender now and try and get that blocked out and see where we're sitting with that, and then start obviously chasing the last little marks and that, so we can get that bloody thing's dialed in. Yeah, so that'll be about the size of that. I'll bring you back when I've blocked that back out again. Righty guys, so I'm almost finished sanding this thing to the point where there's a couple little minor pieces that I need to try and dial in, I guess. There's just a few little marks in here. I might better sand this bottom piece back a bit more. I haven't sanded down here terribly well yet, because I've been sort of concentrating on the trying to get these lines in the best I can. I actually went back to 80 grit on a block and just slowly run it down here, holding it on its edge a few times, run it backwards and forwards through there, both sides, and then come back with a bit of 240 and then try to clean it up, just to try and see if I can sharpen it up, because this is so badly damaged. I wouldn't say I've lost the line, but it's kind of semi-disappearing, if you know what I mean. But I'm trying to do the best I can here, because it's without really freaking spending just absolute hours on the metal work, and trying to dial it in before we put primer and wide-board on there. It's pretty awkward to lose the lines, or pretty easy to lose the lines. So I need a little bit in here of something. It's too much for body filler, or for paint. Maybe a little bit here. There's a couple just minor little marks. Maybe just smear a little piece in there with my finger and then knock it back off again. Everything else is pretty reasonable. I need to double check around the bottom of the edge. I've been trying to dial it in around here a bit better. So if I actually get a sand around here, got a little mark in here that it needs a little bit of filler in it. But it's just really minor stuff. And I might have to try and put something in these couple of marks to pick a spot to freaking try and put stuff into. I'll have to probably put that one with my finger, just try and smudge a little bit into those holes and then knock it off again. And just a little bit in here, the corner of this where it sort of joins in. Just need to put something a little bit in there. But yeah, I've still got some blocking back to do right around the edges and stuff like that. But yeah, remember this is not seen from here down. So I've still got to blend this stuff in a wee bit. And around here, like I haven't quite sanded it all yet, but it's looking pretty clean and pretty good for where I started. I'm going to sand these edges a bit more too, get them a bit nicer. But we're getting there. Horrible shitting things. Yeah, I think if I ever build a car with this sort of stuff on it, I'll make sure they're really good before I start. But yeah, or just make a fenderless. Be easier. But anyway, so I'm going to call it here for today. I've not long just done a shout out, well, not shout out video, but I got called out by Hombre Garage off another video to do a talk or a video about some of the most clapped out stuff that I've seen or worked on or whatever. So I've done that, and I've shouted out some other guys, or called out some other guys to do the same sort of thing. So that'll probably possibly would have been up before this. Just depends on how much footage I've got for this video, and I'll put that other one up. It'll be sort of 15-20 minutes long, I guess. But yeah, so I've done that. So yeah, look out for that. So it'll be the if you don't see it before you watch this one, because it'll probably be before this one, but it'll be about the most clapped out things I've worked on. So yeah, and I'll say it on here. I've called out Dave from Scott Rods Sobering boys at Sobering Restorations and Big Easy and Uncle Bobo from Coastal Auto Reaction. So 3 Canadian channels, but Dave from Scott Rods is obviously from Scotland. I did think about some other ones, but yeah, you know, I know there's a few guys that crisscross about, so you know, I'm pretty sure that Dave, you know, some of the ones I could have shouted out or called out, he'll do it to some of those other ones as well. So try and leave, you know, a couple of 3 and let them spread around. So quite an interesting little story. Definitely go watch Iron Horse, because that's who I got called out by. And their video is just absolutely freaking hilarious. They just didn't tell a story. They dragged it out of the pile and drove it around. So anyway, so yeah, go watch that, and then you'll understand what the video is all about. But I'll carry on and pack up here and head home, and I'll see you Monday on the videos. Oh, before I run away today, also the front axle seals that I found for the hubs for the front wheels, I've had them soaking in that solution for several days, and they've actually cleaned up quite well, but they're quite bent and twisted. So Dad actually called down here earlier on, so he'd take them away and he's going to have said, I'll have a wee play at them, fix them up and straighten them up, and then make some new felt seals for you. So, oh yeah, cool, that saves me something to do and gives them something to play with. So he quite enjoys doing that sort of stuff too. So I'll show you I think I've got some videos of what they look like, but yeah, anyway, I'll show you what they look like when they come back anyway. Morning guys, how you going? So I think this will be another new video. I can't remember what number it is because I haven't checked. And I've been a slack bastard. I haven't done anything for the last couple of days because I haven't been able to, well, I haven't really been able to get near my computer over the weekend, because young fella's always been on it playing games and whatever. And I just haven't been bothered. I've still actually got to edit the car cruise from the other night. I sort of flicked through the footage, and some of it, for a start off, is crappy for some reason. It was focusing on something else, and wasn't focusing on the cars going around the corner. It was a bit blurry, which sort of annoyed me. So I haven't looked at the rest of the footage very well yet. But anyway, so where am I at with this thing? I'm going to block back the rest of the body and carry on with that out of the front fender. I think I need to put some putty in that other, the one that I was sanding on Saturday morning. Actually, before I go around to that, I think on the seed in the end of the, well, in some of the footage I've got in the video I've got to make. Dad found, well, we found those the front seals, and yeah, pretty sure I said that Dad's fixing them up. For me, he's going to straighten them up and make some new felt seals for it, since he's got all that gear, and gives him something to play with. So that's cool. We've actually got the brake bands back. I'm not sure if I said that or not, but we actually took them away and got these all redone, relined, new lines and all this stuff. So these are all ready to go. Obviously I've got to give them a bit of a tweak, get them into shape and get them fitting properly. I'm probably going to have to give them another coat of paint, because it looks like it's pretty poorly. I've painted them but not very well, if you know what I mean. They've missed bits, but I can understand. I can give that a better paint job. That's all good. But I need to, when I fit them, I need to get them fitting really, really nice, because Dad was saying, and it's not something I really thought of, but it makes sense, because you would do it with modern brakes too, like that are internal. But what happens with the external brakes, well, if the shoe is rubbing on it, like even if it's gently, you're cruising down the road, as the brakes heat up, they expand, and all of a sudden it'll get to a certain point, then it gets hotter and hotter, and then it grabs on. Whereas a modern brake, it will normally expand and pull away a little bit, like it, not really, but you know what I mean, like the shoes are on the inside, so they're less likely to rub unless they're poorly adjusted, you know, and then they might lock up. But that's normally like something's frozen, whereas if these are just, even if they're sitting there and there's one spot happens to be rubbing too much, it will create heat and the drum will grab, and then all of a sudden your brakes are locked up and you let them cool down. And you're not very easy to get off, if you know what I mean. So I've got to get them fitting on there nicely when I put them on. And probably what I'll actually do is I've got another wheel over there. I'll probably slip them over and get them bent up so the actual metal backings, so I can get them just sitting on there, and they slip on nicely, and they fit nice, and they don't really touch anywhere. So I've got to do that at some point. So yeah, I've probably got a few little spots in this. I've got to put a little bit putty in. I'll get that done shortly. I'll just burn some rubbish out there, so I need to go check on that fire. It's pretty much burnt all the way down. I sat down and watched it for, I don't know, probably 40 minutes. There's a lot of crap burnt down this morning. Just got rid of some shit from home and some shit from here. Always handy. So yeah, that's about that at the moment. So yeah, I'll get that blocked or puttied up. I'll block the other one out, and we'll start blocking this body because I want to get hopefully some more high build on it before the weekend, once we've sort of picked up all the little bits and pieces and make sure it is right and put any more glazing putty in anywhere. Because I really would like to get this thing painted, hopefully by Christmas, if we can get the paint. I'm not sure on that one. I think we might have a freaking typical of everything with this COVID bullshit. You know, we're starting to have problems getting certain products and certain colours and crap like that because we can't even get body filler at the moment. We're waiting on that because I'll need another lot just to finish the other stuff off. Like I've got hardly anything left in that can. Fortunately, I don't really need a lot at the moment with the bits I'm using. Well, I don't really need anything, but when I get into that front valance piece that goes in between the chassis rails at the front, between the front guards and down below the grill shower, I need a body filler for that. And those side balances, I'll bound to need something somewhere for that because it's been rolled through a roller and whatever. So like they're not perfect, you know. So we'll have to skim coat that, and they're big long things, you know. We'll have to skim coat that and get that all nice. You know, and apart from those things, like we're not going to need a lot of product for anything else, but there will still be little bits and pieces that will need something. Mainly those trims that go on the top of the body. We'll have to body work them because they're definitely not perfect. But you know, they're not far away. But a little skim of something will be better than trying to smash a whole heap of paint or high build on them. You know, a little bit of body filler and block them back and make them look nice will be the way to go. So yeah, sort of where I'm at, so we're waiting on that sort of stuff. But I've got plenty to carry on with in the meantime. But yeah, just don't know if we're going to, I was hoping to get it painted before Christmas. We might do, just depends on whether we can get, if we can get the colours, because apparently they're starting to struggle with certain shaders and, you know, the mixes and stuff like that. So depending on the colour, yeah, we could be maybe later on or early next year, sort of, you know, by the time stuff comes through. And with Christmas, a lot of places around here shut down for a few weeks, which is, that would be nice, but I can't afford to stop because if I stop, I don't get paid. At the moment, I'm not at that point where I can take time off and not be paid, if you know what I mean. Or, you know, that I can just pay myself without anything coming in. I'm not at that level yet, so basically, fortunately, I can probably take Christmas Day off and New Year's Day off and whatever, but the rest of it I don't have to work, so I could still get cash in my pocket. But anyway, that's all good. Yeah, I think that's all I've got going on at the moment, so I'll stop waffling and I'll get working. Righty guys, so I've been blocking back the back part of this body. I knocked a lot of that, the glazing putty back, except for some stuff on the front here. I did try and shape that little piece in, and I've done the other stuff on the other side. But I've been just trying to block back the back of this body. It's pretty good, considering like this part of the body board hasn't had a lot of primer or anything else on it. and it's not coming up too bad. Like there's a few little marks to fill where I put that glazing putty in this edge, and there's a little bit more just on the edge just to smooth it out and get rid of the marks. But I've knocked it back, and I blocked back here this edge with 80 for a start off, just to knock all the crap off it, and just sand it underneath with actually just that in the hand, just to knock all the crap off from underneath to try and get a square edge. And then I just smoothed it off, but it needs a bit of putty in it. I haven't done much down here, just sort of knocked the worst of the crap off yet. I haven't had a good study of that. But the back part of the body from here back, I've been blocking back pretty hard, and it's coming up pretty good. Again, I've got to try and do down here sort of almost by hand with a piece of paper in my hand or a real thin block. I haven't sort of done just, that sort of area yet. But everything else I've done, I've got a few little pieces I'm going to have to scrape with glazing putty, but it's like, I'm talking 1 or 2 or 3, just along that bottom edge, where it's just not as good as what it could be. But apart from that, and there might be the odd little, I did sort of circle some of them, but I think I can maybe get a little bit more out yet. Been sort of sanding. I did circle a few. You can sort of see where I sort of started circling. I thought, shit, no, I'll have another go. I'll keep blocking. I've got an odd little pinhole that's, it's poking up, but I'm just going to have to scrape. I'm going to have to go around and really check it. Like I've got a few little pinholes that I can see in the filler and the primer. I thought I actually would have lost them by now with the amount of product I'm going to put on, but obviously it's, maybe a bit of air is trapped. Been trapped and it hasn't, let the paint with the amount of product that's going on fill them at this point. But, you get that. I've still got to put a little bit of something in here. Again, look, it's a few little pinholes. But the rest of it's pretty good. Like even back around into here, I've got it pretty good. Like a little bit up in here that I've got to fill. But even on the edge, it's pretty good. I've got a little bit. I've got to try and sharpen up and clean up underneath here. But generally, it's not bad. A little bit, even on this piece, I've got to put a little bit more putty in and stuff. But the rest of it is looking pretty shit hot. I haven't done, obviously, sanded down there yet. And I've obviously got to clean up right into this edge and stuff. But apart from that, the back part of the body's looking really, really good. Like, if you're, you could almost paint it at this point, if you went through and just scraped all those and put a little bit of that, like you could almost paint it. But I'll put another, not a heap of coats, but a few coats on it once I get these pings, and I'll block it back with probably 400, to finish it off. But, we're almost at that level. Now I might have to just come back here. There's a few little pieces up here too that I want to, it's like a little spot like that. A few little marks, but nothing. I'm not worried about up here. As long as this sort of inch or more is pretty good down here. Obviously the upholstery comes down there and we're pretty good. But that'll do in the meantime. I've got about probably 20 minutes before lunch. So I'm just going to keep blocking and then I'll come back later on. I've done a little bit with the Fender. I'll show you that later on. But I think Arco's trying to message me, so I better go talk to him instead. Morning, guys. So welcome back. Unfortunately, I had to leave quickly yesterday. A bit of an incident near home-ish, a reasonable distance away, but a few blocks away. And they locked the school down because, I don't know, a couple of idiots that were obviously, some sort of bad drug deal went down and somebody got shot in the hand and their back. Freaking idiots. God, there's some freaking clowns on this planet. Anyway, so yeah, that's a pretty rare incident around here. I think that's the first one I've heard of in a long time. Anyway, yeah, so they locked the school down, so the missus rang out panicking, thinking it was something to do with the school. But no, it wasn't. It was like a couple of blocks away, but the police just said keep the kids in school because it was, like it was only about an hour before they finished school, so they said just keep them in lockdown and just till we get this matter resolved and make sure that the kids aren't going to be wandering past and get not so much get in the way, but obviously if something goes wrong, we can't control fucking 300 kids fucking walking away from the school, so they should just keep them there until we resolve it. And it was just before they got out, they had it all resolved, so they said the kids could finally go home. But anyway, so yeah. But yeah, I've almost got some footage finished, because when I went home yesterday, which was about 2:30, I thought, screw it, and I might as well freaking go through some footage. So I've almost got a video set up, so I'll put a little bit of today's in it, from a new video. I thought I actually had enough yesterday before that for footage, but I don't know, for some reason I had some footage mixed up. Some of it was from the last video, so yeah, it didn't have as much as I thought it did, but I've almost got something pieced together. I've been going through the car cruise the other night, and unfortunately with that, when I message Arco all the time, I send them little video clips of what I'm doing, or if I want to ask them a question, I chop it back to 720, and I had it all on 720, which wasn't the worst thing, but for some reason, I don't know whether I had the back of my lens was a little bit dirty, or something. It just wasn't, it's not bad, but it's just not focusing on the cars properly, you know what I mean? It's almost like it's focusing before that, and it's just a bit of a pain, or something, or the lens is a wee bit dirty. Like I normally try and whiten the lens, because I have glasses, I've always got normally have this special little rag that every time you get a new pair of glasses, they give you 2 or 3 of these little rags sort of things, and you can wipe your glass and it makes it nice and clean. I always keep one in my pocket, normally for my phone, to keep the lenses clean, because I do see it. Sometimes the guys will be videoing in their workshop or whatever, and they're using their phone, and they'll go from one clip where their phone's quite clean, and then the next one it'd be really smearing greasy, because they've obviously got a fingerprint in their back of the camera, and it's like, they'll be doing something that's really quite hard to see with the thing. So I always try and make sure it's clean, but yeah, obviously it wasn't either 100% clean, or just the phone wouldn't focus or something, I don't know. The footage is okay, but it's a bit average, so I'm trying to get that to piece together. That'll be about 20 minutes long, with basically just cars cruising through streets and just a bit of music over it, because I obviously didn't get a chance to do the walk around because it pissed down right near the end. But anyway, so yeah, so hopefully at some point, once I get into these other cars and actually, this becomes a business, not me just working for money to build this car for the farmer, because I'm in his shed and using a lot of the tools that he's bought, and then I'll be renting the shed and the tools, building these other cars. So I'll be charging those customers a lot more to do, so I can pay myself a wage, plus make a little bit of profit, plus pay tax, plus pay the farmer for obviously the rental of and the hire of the gear and the shed, if you know what I mean, and the power and whatever. So hopefully then I'll better, because I just haven't been able to freaking accumulate any money I want to get some GoPro type cameras. I was actually I thought about maybe trying to buy something there a while ago, but I was sort of holding off to maybe because the DJI, I made a camera about 2 or 3 years ago, the DJI Action, Osmo Action, whatever the hell it is, and it's quite a nice little camera. And I knew there was a second one coming out, but it looks like a real pig of a thing. They just made it weird. I don't know, it's like all these clipped together like little cubes, if you want a front-facing screens for when you're looking at the lens. It's like an extra clip-on thing, and if you want an extra battery, you got to take that lens off, and you got to clip a battery on it, and it's just weird and stupid, if you know what I mean. So yeah, because what it is like the main camera is like this little cube, and it's got the lens on it, it's got a screen on the back, and it's got a battery, its own battery source that you can't take out, and it's got its own internal memory. You can't put an SD card in it. So if you want an SD card for more storage, because it's only 32 gig or whatever it is of storage, so if you want something extra, you got to clip this other clip on the thing, bottom on it, which is a battery pack, and you can put an SD card in it, and you can have a screen on the front. But if that one goes flat, then you've either got to have another one with a screen on it, which is like $200 for the screen and the battery pack. That's one unit. that clips on the bottom of the camera with the screen on the back, if you know what I mean. Like, it's real piggy. So you've either got to buy multiples of these battery packs with the screen on it, or you can just buy the battery pack with the SD card on it, which is like about half the price, but still the battery pack with the card in it's like over $100, whereas the camera before that, like, you could buy a battery pack for $35, you know. It's just real dumb, and like then you lose your front screen. So if you're looking at the camera lens, like I am, you can see the screen, but if you're obviously when you're facing away, like, you know, you just change on your phone, you just turn the camera around, you know, so it's facing the other way. But on that, if you want to look at the other side of it, you know, you'll either lose your screen or you got to have a battery pack. You know, you got to have one or the other. You can't. So if that screen goes flat and you want to put another battery pack on it so you can film longer, well then, yeah, you lose your screen. And it's just dumb. I don't know. It's sort of got its use case, but it's like they've taken it away from being an action camera almost. They've made it an action camera, but it's not an action camera. It's not rugged enough. You can't change the lens on the front. Like, if you damage it, you've either got to put it in a protective carry case and then put a lens cover on it. Whereas the old one's got like this screw-off lens. You know, if you happen to scratch it or damage it or whatever, you know, you can just buy another lens. You buy a pack of 2 or 3 spare lenses, you know, and sometimes you get the filter ones. But so you, like, if you're out in real bright light, you know, you can put like a shade on it. Well, you can't do that with this new one without having this cage around it, you know, and then that blocks half the microphones off and it sounds muffled, and I don't know, it's just they've like overthought of it and made it too complicated. You know, it was people just, you know, if you can pick a camera up, oh sweet, you know, the battery's getting low, grab another battery out of your bag, jam it in, put that one in the charger, and away you go. You know, you just carry it on. Whereas this, you go to unclip it, and you go, oh, okay, now I can't see what I'm doing because I've lost my screen because I've only got a normal battery now, because that's like, you know, $200 frickin', and that one's $100. You know, it's just stupid. But anyway, I'm going to carry on here. What I'm doing, I'll show you what I'm doing here. Yeah, right. So yesterday, I actually put a bit extra filler around here. Because I was struggling, struggling to get this. There's like a double edge. I'll show you these other rear fenders. The front fenders sort of had it too, but it's sort of, they've been beaten out of it. See, they got like this. You got this hard edge, and then it's almost got like another line there, where it sort of like jumps up. Whereas the front fenders have sort of got it, because the back ones are pretty good, and I managed to get it in there when I was doing the body work and panel work on it. But the front ones, it's sort of there, but it's not there. You know, in places it's there, but it's sort of like disappeared, just because, you know, where it's been hammered and dollied and whatever, and it's just not there. So what I've done is I've taped along that edge and put a little bit of glazing putty all the way around it, just to try and fill that edge up a little bit, just to get a sharper thing on it, a bit like this. It's been annoying, man. I've been trying to get it in as I've been doing body work, and it just hasn't sort of happened. But I don't know whether these fenders were a matching set, you know, like these could have been off a slightly different year and they could have been a little bit different. I don't know, you know. They had it, like they kind of had it in the raw, but not really. So, yeah, I built this edge up a little bit, but there's a few spots where it's a bit shallow. Like to here, I just haven't got enough on it, and here. So I want to put a little bit more on in places, so I can try and blend it in if I can. And there's also like a few spots where I just didn't have enough because I've already knocked it off a little bit. But I just want to go back over it and do it again in places, you know, because I'm sick of frickin' dealing with these things, to be honest. You know, put a bit more in here because I want to try and get these as good as I can before this prime, because I want to do it one more time, and that's it. I've almost had a guts full of them, trying to get them right, just because there's so many blooming curves and shapes, and they're pigs of things to work on. It's not this centerpiece, and it's not this piece. Like, these edge pieces were bad enough, but man, this line has just driven me nuts. Just trying to get them right. Just because there's so many blooming curves and shapes, and they're pigs of things to work on. It's not this centerpiece, and it's not this piece. Like, these edge pieces were bad enough, but man, this line has just driven me nuts. Just trying to get them right. 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 Just trying to and sort of been happy with it, and then look at the back fenders and go, it's not right, you know. It's going to look queer, one against the other. I know it's fortunately it's other end of the car, but like it still stands out. So it's annoying. So I'm just trying to get something there, so it's, you know, it kind of blends in, because you can feel on the back of the fender, like with the you know, in the steel, like that line's basically not there. You know, that little, it comes along like this, and then it goes up, and then comes over the top. Well, it's not really there on this. It just sort of comes along and then just rolls over, if you know what I mean. And it looks weird. I've either got to fill those ones to look like these, or I've got to make these ones to look like them. And it's just annoying. It's just been frustrating me. It's kind of why I've been avoiding them, if you know what I mean. But anyway, I'll try and get them right and get these in. So, but it's a freaking pain in the ass. It really has been. It's just doing my head in, trying to get these right. You know, when I've spent, you know, 8-9 months, whatever it is now, maybe 9. When did I start on this? March, January, February, March. Yeah, so we're into December now, so it's been 9 months. 9? Yeah. 10, yeah, 9 months that I've been working on this. You know, not doing just body work, but everything, you know, like the whole car mechanically and everything, like just trying to get stuff right and whatever. So when you spent 9 months on it, you want it to be right. It's not as though I've just ripped it down and cleaned the paint off and just done the body work, you know what I mean? And it's taken me, you know, a couple of 3 weeks, but look, so when I've spent this long, I want it to be right, or as close to right as I can get it. So we'll carry on. Alrighty, so I've just been blocking this door out while I'm waiting on that other stuff to go off on those front fenders. I've got the one that I was playing with earlier on over sitting in the sun by the door, to try and get that glazing putty to really go off so it doesn't fill my frickin' paper up. It's a little bit cooler at the moment, like it's a nice day, but it's just a little bit cooler this morning. And I've reglazed the, well, I glazed this other one along the edge to try and get the same sort of finish. This edge isn't actually that bad. I might do it on it, but we'll see. But you can see I've got a nice edge on, like obviously I've got to sand it and clean it up and whatever. But this edge here isn't actually that bad. This one is actually what it kind of should be, if you know what I mean. Yeah, obviously it needs, there's a few spots where it needs sanding and cleaning up. But yeah, this is kind of what I was hoping to get, and then I can just bevel it back a little bit and blend it in, obviously, and a couple of coats of paint over there, and that'll smooth it all out so it looks more like this, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I was going to do both sides, but I thought this side isn't actually that bad. This mightn't have had that much damage around there, up that edge, if you know what I mean. So we might have that one now once we get it the whole thing sanded back out. Well, I haven't sanded, I just actually sanded that piece to put the glazing putty in there. But this door's coming up pretty good. Like I've got to block it back further. I can feel a line up in here where I've probably been trying to get this cleaned up in here. I can feel a line there. But that's just a matter of blocking it out further. Obviously there's still a few marks. I haven't come through the steel anywhere really, so I can block quite a bit more material off of that yet. But for a first prime, it's coming up pretty shit hot actually. I think, you know, by the time I block it back a little bit harder, you know, and get a bit more, you know, probably get back into the yellow a bit more, into the body filler, I think it'll be pretty good, you know, and then hope another couple of primes with the rest of it, and I don't think it'll be far away. Once, you know, as long as the edges look good and all that sort of stuff, you know, we don't have to clean up and tidy any edges. I still want to shim that door back a little, and then I'll obviously, once I've finished blocking this one, I'll keep moving forward. But yeah, I'm going to keep doing that. So that's just a little update in the meantime. I know the sanding stuff's pretty boring, but it's kind of what I'm doing. I need to get this done so I can get it painted. So it's kind of where I'm at. So yeah, that'll do in the meantime, I guess. All right, we'll bring you back later on when we've made a little bit more progress and moved down the car a little bit, and hopefully got these other things cleaned up a bit. Righty, so I've taken a wee break from that door. I've got that block back quite a bit further than what it was. There's still a couple little patches, need to do. I mean, like, there's a few little marks in there that I need to see if I can get back a little bit further. A little one there. It's pretty good around there. Maybe, still the odd a little bit. Needs a little bit more through here. But, like, I'm still not really. The only place I'm through to steel is here. That's just on that little edge piece, which I'm, as long as I don't make it too much bigger, it'd be good. So, for being one of the doors I was having a lot of problems with, that had to do all that shrinking on, that's actually come up pretty nice for a first block back in primer, so that's cool. I've been dealing to this front fender a little bit, one I had sitting over there cooking in the sun for a bit, trying to get this crap to go off properly. So this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm trying to get. And I think I'm winning now, to get a reasonable sort of line down there and reasonably even, so it looks nice when it's painted. Obviously I'm going to have to come back along with a bit more glazing putty and whatever, and obviously get rid of the marks, but, whoa, alright, stop it. Sunlight, I can have to come along and just put a little bit more in to get these marks and stuff cleaned up, but this is what I was after. It's got that little edge on it. So basically I pulled the tape off and that left me a pretty good line. I've come along, knocked it off on the top. Once I've sort of thought I had it down pretty reasonable, I've come along with this block here and just run along that edge and just chamfer it back a little bit, which is kind of what these are like. They just chamfer back a little bit. So I think I'm onto it now, because man, it was just annoying me because it just didn't look right. Like I might have to do a little bit more down through here, and get this a wee bit better. I might put a little bit more fill around through here, but I'm getting there now, so I'm pretty happy with that side. I haven't done much with this side yet. I've still got to knock it off, knock it down, and clean the edge up. For some reason that went weird when it pulled the tape off, but it's all good. We'll fix it. I've even got a little bit around the front so I can clean it up a little bit, but if I can get it back, if I can get them all back to this, then I'll be freaking happy. We can deal with the odd little piece of imperfection, because there's the odd little high spot in amongst the steel here, but there's not really a lot I can do with it. But if we're really, really close, the odd imperfection, like minor imperfection that you're probably really not going to see too much, but they are going to be black, so that's one, being fussy, because they are going to be black. And as we know, black is the worst colour you can paint anything, because it just shows absolutely everything. So these fenders and stuff I've got to be fussy with. The blue is going to be pretty bad anyway, but like some of the other colours don't show things as badly, but when you get a nice clean shiny paint job, it's pretty hard, it's pretty easy to see imperfections, but some colours are easier to hide than stuff than the others. Like white is one of the easiest, so that's where I'm at this. I still haven't done any more with this one. Yeah. But yeah, you can sort of see that, and it's got that on there. I might take this edge off and make it better, but this will cure up pretty too, and this will come up nice too now. So that's what I was trying to get. I'm not too worried about if it peters out here anyway, because it does. It's been repaired from back here, so like if it blends out, I'm not too stressed about it if it comes back here and just blends out, if you know what I mean. But we can make it look even and whatever, but if it's got that line, then all of a sudden it just peters out from here back. Well, what does it matter, You can just say that's the way it was. Nobody's going to know unless you got another one parked exactly the same beside it. But it is what it is. We'll get it there. So that one doesn't look too bad, you can sort of see that edge. But yeah, these other, if I can get them all sort of looking a bit like that, it's not going too bad. Whoa, freaking light, man. Doors open in that bright sunlight, just plays havoc if you're walking around. Anyway, that'll do. I'll keep sanding back. Righty guys, so I'll just give you a little update. So I've got, this is still this other one, so I've got that side dialed in pretty nicely now. I've just put a little bit of putty in there, a few of the little holes and bits and pieces, and on here where there's some imperfections, but I think that looks way better now. So I've done the same thing around the front, and up the other side too, and when that goes off I'll sand it back and clean it up and whatever. And I'm still doing the same on the other one. I've been sanding that back, but I had my green car in for a what we call a warrant of fitness over here, safety check, and it failed on a seatbelt, so I just got the missus to go away and get one, and she come back with it just a few minutes ago, and so I've just put that in. So I'm going to go get that, show them that they'll put the seatbelt on it, and then they'll give me the warrant of fitness sticker that goes in the windscreen for the next whatever 12 months or whatever it is. So yeah, that's at least then that car will be legal on the road, and if I don't get pulled over for anything for that, so that's cool, because they'll if you drive past them, they can tell straight away whether you've got a warrant and it's registered. So warrant is a safety check, so it's a bit like the UK, what do they call it, MOT, whatever it is, same thing, it's a safety check, and I guess it's like anywhere else and around the world that has a safety check on a regular basis. I know some states in Australia you don't have to get one if you sell it. Tasmania you don't have to have one, but if you get pulled over by the police and they deem your vehicle unsafe, then you got to get it up to spec, and then you got to do a safety check. But yeah, so I'm just going to go put that back through and get that sorted, and whether I come back here or not I'm not sure. But anyway, so yeah, I might make this the end of this video this time, and you will see in the next one, I guess. I haven't done any more on the body, I haven't done any more sanding back, I've just redone that back door. I've been trying to get these friggin' front fenders sorted, because I'm pretty much done with the backs. Well, actually, I cleaned a little bit of crap off one of them, I think. Yeah, I gave this one a little sand up earlier on, and just sanded back some of the stuff that I put in it. Again, I'll probably have to go over and just fill in more little marks and bits and pieces. I want to try and get them fully freaking dialed in before I put any more primer in them. Or anything that I can see anyway, now that I've sanded that back. Yeah, because hopefully, they've had 2 good primes now, so I don't really want to start pouring too much more primer on them, chasing the little stuff. You know, I'll try and get it all in the set, and then maybe, you know, just do a couple of coats just to see where we're at, and see if I can see anything else, and then dial it in again, and then maybe another couple of coats, just sort of pull them up, if you know what I mean. Hopefully that's what I want to do with the front fenders too. Get more, I think I'm right, chase every little mark that I can see, and then probably should have done that for starting, probably should have done this from the start, but I thought I could sand it in, but this is definitely the easiest way to do it. Just put some tape down there, cover this, putting the filler into that edge, and then just pull it off, and then just clean it up with a bit of sandpaper, and it's freaking way better. Should have done that right from the word go, but I just didn't think about it, you know what I mean? You think, oh, you know, just put the filler in there and, you know, sand that out and get it dialed in, but I just freaking couldn't get it to work. But like I said, this is one of the first times I've ever done fenders of this sort of shape and sort of lines like that, if you know what I mean. Like normally cars don't. Well, they do, but they don't, you know what I mean? Like modern vehicles kind of have lines like that, but not really. Even this thing here, like, turn the phone around. Like, you know, it might have a line like that, but you know, it's like there's no real They'll have, you know, body lines where they change shape, but you know, like this not normally funny like little double swages. You know, sometimes there is, but you know, like, but that's quite a prominent thing. You know, you can normally sand that in, but it's such a small step on that thing. It's so easy to lose, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so yeah, got the seat bed in there. There's the old one. New one here, because it was frayed down here, and they'll just throw it out. This is a little, it's not bad. Like, it's just sort of just a wee bit here in the side, but that was quite bad. I actually tried to singe it to seal it up, but yeah, no, they wouldn't have it. So yeah, threw that one on, second-hand one, and be done with it. like I said, you know, I don't plan on keeping this for a long time. I just want to get it cleaned up, and I'll do the clear sometime, you know, over the next month or two, and give that a scuff back and just shoot it. I'm not stressed about it, as long as it looks tidy and whatever, and give it a good clean up. And if I can find a yeah, like I said, a ute or a van or something, then I'll sell this. But anyway, we'll catch you later on.